I'm ready. Well, almost ready. If y'all hear food fried in the background, it ain't my fault. I started my day late. I've been trying to get readings out of the way, charts out of the way. My life. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. You can't? Okay. I'm like, wait, I don't know if they can or not. Here, throw this away for me. You? Thank you. Thanks. All right, let's get started. All right, so this is cord cutting session. Divine Feminine Masculine number 11, cord cutting session number 5. All right. So, has anybody used the techniques so far and see some improvement, or still trying to kind of like battle those energies to figure out how to kind of like just cut somebody out? I want some chicken. It was so good. You have no idea. It was chicken and waffles. I'm about to be greedy in about 1 hour, okay? 58 minutes. But did the techniques work? Have y'all tried it? Have y'all tried them? So I'll wait for y'all responses because I see yeah, I started. Yeah, it did. Okay. So the next thing we're focusing on is how your energy. Okay, so how your energy registers cord cutting and what makes you happy in order to cut cords. All right, so it's really funny. Not yet. I think I'm almost ready. Okay. I swear to you, it's no rush. It's just a matter of just knowing like the direction that you're going into, right? Because I know I get like a lot of messages on IG where people are like, I'm catching up on the classes. Some people are only on class number 4, 5, class 8, and we're on class number 11. So by the time you hopefully get to, the end of the course, all right, you'll be able to accomplish your overall goal. And it's so funny because the card that I have like flipped up out of nowhere right here is the cup, 9 of cups. So that tells me that we're in the right direction, and 9 of cups is our overall goal. All right. Hold on 1 second, y'all. This thing be doing its own little thing at times. I promise y'all it does. It said rotate back. Whatever. I'm leaving it like that. I don't have time to play with this stupid ass technology today. All right. So how your energy absorbs seeing progress for cutting cords, and what makes you happy is what helps you cut cords. I had a dream about him last night, and I swear to God, I was thinking about, what's his sign? Oh, water sign. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do that. But water signs know how to tap into energy. Like they're like Pisces and Cancers, the mind readers of the zodiac, or the energy of zodiac. I always say, and this is just my ideology, that the High Priestess card, it represents Pisces, but I always say that's all water signs, because if Pisces is the leader of the zodiac, but they're everything into one, that means that they have Scorpio somewhere in there. So I do feel like Scorpios have the ability to tap into other people's energy. Hey, so I will be very mindful of that. All right, so you ain't really have to do nothing. Just continue doing basically what you're doing. Additionally, when you become like either extremely busy or super happy, you'll watch them literally pop up out of nowhere. Or you'll start to see like synchronicities, like, their birthday or, their name, shit. You'll be watching a movie, their name should pop in the movie. Like, what the hell? Nobody ever made their name with that ugly. But how being happy helps cutting cords, all right? It's a process. You'll be fine. I promise you'll get past it. And I don't promise nothing, really. So think about when you're in a space where you're just extremely happy, super focused. All right. So if you have your day, we'll say, and it's planned like to the T, where you have no way to add anything else into your schedule, no way to take something out of your schedule. Like you just pretty much, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you're busy. All right. If everybody is requiring something from you, if you're a business owner, light worker, if you have a YouTube channel, thank you, then you're gonna be busy, right? So the more you have things to do, all right, the more you're not gonna have any time to veer off into any other energies, even thinking. Like, even if that person were to pop into your head, whatever, like, your schedule gets so tight, you were like, damn, okay, I ain't got time to think about that. Let me go over here and figure out this, or let me go over here and do that. All right? The power behind that is you don't leave any room for things to seep in. And when you're extremely happy, say, for instance, if this is something like a project or something that you've been waiting for a really long time, and you're genuinely happy about it, you're ecstatic, like the day is finally here, you're not going to ruin that day thinking about the person in which you're cutting cords from. You're gonna really, hopefully, most likely, focus on your happiness. So think about the things additionally that kind of make you happy. And if you don't know, because I had clients in the past that told me, like, man, I don't know what make me happy. I don't know what my hobby is. I don't know, like, none of that. And I got nothing but free time. So how does that apply to me? Well, it applies to you because now you have to start looking at how your life is set up. Okay, so not a rebirth, okay, not a spiritual awakening, but just what your schedule looks like and how much of that schedule makes you happy. A lot of times we get really consumed in our jobs, our family life. If you have kids, if you have parents, like you just get really overly consumed to the point where you start to take on their energy. So if they're stressing about something, they calling you stressing about what they stressing about. That doesn't help you with cord cutting though. In fact, it's an invitation to start thinking about problems and situations and scenarios, that are going on in your life. So it's imperative for you to be mindful of that. All right. Secondly, it's imperative for you to know the thought behind arguing. All right, the thoughts behind arguing. When you're cutting cords, unless you're arguing the energy, you cannot argue with that person. All right, if you have no contact with that individual at all whatsoever, then when their energy is presented to you, then you argue. Like, I talked about that in the last cord cutting session where it's like, okay, what are you here for? Like, why are you what are you popping up for? Like, especially fresh breakups, you start to reminisce and think about, a lot of things that have usually nothing to do with your current situation and scenario. And even if you walked away from this individual, we'll say because they were toxic or just, not what you were looking for at the time frame, right? You need to make sure that you're arguing against that person's energy. Like, okay, like, we're not together. I don't care about what they did. I don't care about this. Like, okay, so this is my ideology, and I've also had conversations with people and they, told me the same thing, but y'all can let me know what y'all think about that. But I had a person tell me that even though their person was cruel to them, for some way, shape, or form, they found a way to see this individual in a good light. So despite everything that person had did, they still found a way to see this person in a certain light, positively. Like, you have to argue and stand on the reason why you are not in the relationship with that individual. If for any reason you see this individual in a positive light, and I'm not saying you got to be toxic with it, like, oh, I hate you, this and that. I'm just saying, like, you have to stick to the facts here. Now, say for instance, if it ended humbly, it wasn't no issues, it wasn't no argument, it wasn't no problem, then it's just a simple, you know what? We loved each other enough to know that it wasn't gonna work. And your argument is, okay, it's just not gonna work. So when it comes to the conversation behind that, it's just not gonna work. It ain't gonna work. I'm too much of this, or he's too much of that, or I can't do this or don't want to do this, and he just can or won't do that. Like, or, you know, she can't do that, or however, right? The thought behind arguing these energies also is to not tread backwards. Yes, exactly. Rose-colored glasses. The objective is to not tread backwards, because if a person that you're cutting says, so arguing slash directions create stagnation and rumination, thus slowing down the cord cutting process. Yes, or even starting it over. Because the more you argue with an individual, the more you can't stand them. You're like, oh, I can't stand you, you get on my damn nerve. Especially if you're dealing with somebody that is disrespectful. If you mess around and got somebody that likes to play, we'll say, phone games, you know, things of that nature, then the first thing they're gonna do is what? Hang up on you. Now you like, God, now I want to, you know, bust you upside your head, you know. So it's very imperative for you to kind of stay in your own light, because the more you tread off from that, the more you allow their energy to seep back in. It's like you have to hit the reset button all over again. Yeah. If you argue with them, you pressing the reset. You're starting back over from day one. And it's not a bad thing, because as I'm starting to do research now, I've come to find that people do that. You know, in a fresh breakup, they do that over 30, 40 times. But it also depends on that person's tolerance. And that's where, you know, zodiac signs come in. Moon sign, Mercury sign, Mars sign, Venus sign. That's where all of that comes into play, because once you keep doing the same thing, eventually you gonna get irritated. You gonna be like, you know what? Nah, I'm straight. Like, this and BS. I'm gone, you know? So let's see. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. Additionally, if you're not in a relationship with this individual, and for any reason you do start, okay, we'll say people that have children, all right? If you have children with this individual, and I don't know, you could be anywhere, and this individual just feels like it's in their best interest, in their best nature, to just pick an argument about something, all right? If this is the same person you're cutting cords from, it's gonna be imperative for you to have brace yourself conversations, all right? We talked about that in the last class too, because the more you are, it says that's me, the more you are dealing with like their energy, okay, or arguments, or conversation period. If they're in a new relationship, like all of that stuff plays a part in cord cutting, because y'all have to understand the science behind why people do what they do. Like, and as I'm coming across a lot of the information I've been digging up out of, like, you know, my vaults, okay? Most people, when they pick somebody, and you like, oh my God, they moved on so quickly, they already had this individual, they've been talking to this individual, they pick that individual usually based off of the fallacies that y'all had. So that person really is only a mirror of you, only in a different form, in some way, shape, or form. That's why you'll find that most people date people that look like you, or they act like you, or they're, you know what I'm saying, like similar size, or, you know, height, or, you know, you don't see people really stepping out of variations of their individual. Now, most people get upset with that, and they be like, oh, they got better, they're so happy, which I'm going to go more into that, you know, farther down the line. But you have to argue that energy, like, okay, that's who they chose, that's who can have them. Like, if they decided to leave, but is it fair to say that every time you reset, it is in a higher, more progressive level than the previous point? Yeah, I mean, you're not resetting and you're stopping. You're just resetting because you gave in to their energy, and now it's time for you to kick them back out again. So you still making progress. You're not resetting and you like, damn, now I gotta start over from square root one. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where it's like, dang, like, all right, I let them back in my energy, now it's time to kick your ass out. You can kick somebody out your energy in seconds. So I don't care how many times you reset. You can reset 40 times because they can call you back to back. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's really all about how you're handling the situation. If you don't talk to that individual that much, you might find that, you know, when y'all do talk, that's more striking because you didn't get a chance to get a lot of the information or how you feel out at the time frame of talking to them. So you could feel some type of way about that. But it's imperative, like I said, for you to know that you're going into this situation and scenario and for you to be prepared mentally if you have to talk to them. If they randomly pop up and stuff like that, then you win energy by taking control of the situation, even if you don't want to. Example, if the ex pop up to your house, you really want to hear them out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to know why they did what they did or why they said what they said or why something happened the way it happened. Having control over energy is not hearing that at all, not wanting that at all, not letting them in at all, leaving them out there, just letting them, let their ass stay out there. But you know the way we're built, we're kind first, right? Which is another thing that I'll talk about here. We're kind first and non-reservation of our own energy. It said that's exactly what they used to do. Yeah, I mean, because they know if they pop up, you're not going to be the type of person where you're going to just leave them outside. You know, like, if you're here and you're in this class, it's because you're working on yourself and you want to be the best version of yourself. People that are bad people ain't trying to work on the best version of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that tells me that you have some type of kindred spirit, heart, maybe light worker, or just wanting to be a better version, right? So people will take advantage of that. And you have to know that when you're going through your cord cutting process. Like, they know what the hell they doing. They grown. I could never say what I wanted to say. Exactly. Because they catch you off of, they catch you off beat, or they catch you like out of your comfort zone because it's a surprise. You know what I'm saying? It's a pop-up. But when you start cutting cords from this individual, you will eventually, which is what the next class will be about. I left him outside one time. I was tired of him popping up and then ghosting me. And that's the best thing to do. Leave him out there. But eventually, you'll get to a point where you'll start addressing energies and checking the energy where it doesn't even affect you. Where you go be like, no, I don't got no time to deal with this. All right, they outside, they go home. You might pick up a book, pick up your phone, do something. But it'll be almost like it's never happening. It says, I will be in the grocery store. Oh my goodness, yeah. And I literally would act like, oh, hey, you know what I'm saying? So it don't look like you're a part of the bitter, you know, the bitter club. But as far as holding a conversation, you can't hold conversations with people that you know you're still healing or hurting from. It don't do nothing but rip you more and more and more. Now, some people be like, oh no, you're supposed to be the bigger person. And you're supposed to talk to them and this and that. It's like, that's a lie. Where they came up with that ideology, I still can't figure out. And I've been researching that for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, you know? Because there is nothing out there that says that you have to, like, communicate with this individual or figure something out with this individual. Like, if you're shunned by a person and they've done you so wrong where your heart has to heal, like, hey, then it's not going to be an easy thing to see them. So you have to always prepare yourself if they do pop up. Is this an area or location that they're going to be in? Is this somebody that, you know, I need to, you know, like stay away from, maybe go to a different area? People say, oh, no, that's running. It's like, no, when you back comfortable, you will go back in your routine because you ain't going to stay in inconvenience for too long. So that's what I would say in regards to that part. Start arguing back with the with those energies. Additionally, if you have kids together, people do have a tendency of picking arguments because they know they're gonna be around you. They know that they're gonna see you. Like, it ain't like they gonna just drop the kid off and, you know what I'm saying, and skirt out. Like, they know that they gotta say, oh, here's, you know, the childish, you know, shit, right? Like, oh, here's the bag. Here's this, here's that. Like, they know what they're doing. So it's up to you to not be bothered by that, all right? So the thought behind your ex, all right, or whatever it is that you're cutting cords from. If this is a relationship, then you have to think of the thought behind this individual. You know, the brain using the kids to keep up the BS. Absolutely, all the time. I see it all the time. Like, the most people that I see having to cut cords the most are people that have children by somebody, and that person has somebody probably, and still wants to maintain the energy of the other person that they had kids by. They don't want the other person to live their life. So it's imperative for you to have that mental control and strength to keep that person out of your energy. A lot of things that we mess up on is the thought behind the person that we were dating. Again, we have this nice person energy, you know. It's okay to see a person in a positive light, especially if y'all have children together. You don't want to just tell the kids like, oh, your daddy ain't, or your mom ain't. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really want to do that. But if you know this person hurt you and shunned you, you can't keep looking at them as if it's a one-sided fault. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, you can't keep looking at them as if it's a one-sided fault, okay? You have to look at them for exactly who it is, which is, okay, you were a liar, you were a cheater, you were a manipulator, you were this, you were that, you know? And this is all the stuff in your head. You're not saying this out loud, of course, all right? But you have to see them for who they are. Another thing that I've been noticing through research, when a person first breaks up with somebody, they think about all the good shit. For I don't know why. They miss the part that really happened, like the breakup. But they be like, oh, but we went here together, or oh, we went there together, or this is where we spent our first date together, or this is what they bought me, or, you know, like, this reminds me of them. Like, why are you not thinking about the arguments, the disappointments, the petty shit, the, you know, the whatever that even caused the disconnection or separation in the beginning? Okay? Stop thinking about how great they were and start thinking more about what they were doing for you. And if they were causing more issues than helping you, then that's the energy that you have to stand with. Okay? Hey. So another thing, which I appreciate y'all IG questions too, because if y'all have questions, y'all can ask in here. But somebody asked me about how do you deal with cutting cords if this person is in a relationship with somebody you know, all right? And the best thing to do with that is give them your blessing. It's not about who has the person, it's about your level of happiness, all right? So if you wanted that individual and they decide to shun you and talk to somebody that knew that y'all were together, we're going to receive that karma. Like, and do you want to be with them at the time frame they receive it? Because it's called, there's a such thing called blatant karma. You know what I'm saying? Blatant karma, and that's just my terminology. Blatant karma to me is when somebody knows something is wrong and they do it anyway to the better benefit of themselves because they don't feel like they'll ever receive any reprimand for their actions. Now, you know otherwise because some of y'all are light workers, or y'all just kind, or y'all just was raised right, or you just don't do shit like that, you know? In that case, you know, like, a person is not getting away with the shit that they've done to you. Like, that's the first rule of cord cutting. Like, this ain't going in vain. It ain't like it's gonna be one of those situations where they just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. No man, no woman will ever move through life freely without the reservation of karma. If you look at, what is it, what is it called, polarity, all right? It says that it's always a give and take, Hermes, as above, so below. So there's not a person on this planet, okay, according to my ideology and from my research, that is able to just do wrong blatantly and be okay with it. It might not look like it then that they are in the receiving end of karma, because they look now like they happy, but eventually they will be. And you know when that karma happens? In other words, be logical and objective rather than being emotional. Yes, yes. Like, emotional in the beginning, but as time go on, you have to play that like Like a person at work that you don't really rock with like that. Yeah, basic laws of physics. Yes. It's like if it's somebody at your job and you don't rock with that person like that, you're not gonna deal with them. It's just period. It's only because that this person has had access to mind, body, maybe soul, that you feel like this person has tapped into or went past certain lines and levels, okay? But you have children, some of y'all, all right? If you have children or if you had a child, then that person has had access to your mind, body, and soul. Your child would never do that. Do you see what I'm saying? Your child would never act like that. And your child would never violate like that. So when you look at the intentions now from the child that you brought on this earth, okay, knowing what to do and what not to do, and you look at this individual, okay, their shit is very blatant. So what I'm trying to show you here is the thought process behind cord cutting has everything to do with the intentions of the individual, how they did shit, the way they moved, the things they said, like what could have been changed. They could have went about the situation differently. It could have been more words, more conversation, more something. But what you can't look at is the kind part, or man, maybe if we would have did this or did that, you know, it would have worked out better. And who knows, down the line, some of y'all could end up right back with y'all person. But the most important thing for you to know is if you ended up back with that individual, if you learn the techniques of cord cutting, you will never allow yourself to get that far absorbed in a person's energy again. You'll stay with that seven of wands. Like, okay, we're close, but we're far. You know what I'm saying? I like you or I love you, but that doesn't mean that, you know, I'm gonna allow you to do certain stuff to me or say anything to me type of thing, right? All right, to go back on who they're with, okay, that has nothing to do with you. Remember, we are only vessels here, okay? So you don't know if they dating now a karmic, a dark entity, if they're dating, you know what I'm saying, previous past life situation. Like, usually when people do dirty stuff to other people, they're getting it back tenfold with the person that they walk away from you from, because the grass ain't green on the other side. The only reason it's green is because it's either growing in shit or it's fake. You know what I'm saying? So they eventually will realize that and either tread back. And if they didn't burn bridges too badly, then you can recommend, you know, reprimand that and fix that. And you knows people go on to have a successful life and marriage and everything else. But if they went about it very shady and very toxic, like, you address that energy now. Like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't have any reason to talk to you. You know, like, I do appreciate you reaching out, but you know, at this point, you know, I'm really working on myself. You know, God bless you. Like, and really mean it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the biggest thing about cutting cords. Like, everything that you say and do, every energy that you argue, you have to mean it. Like, you can't just say, because it's like, oh my God, I'm just sad thinking about them, I'm going to cut cords and, you know, I don't want to ever talk to you again. Okay, boom. Like, that still comes with mind, body, soul. You can't, you know, excuse my language, want to cut cords from somebody, but during masturbation, you thinking about this individual. Do you see what I'm saying? And I hate to throw that out there, but you know, we adults here. You can't want to cut cords with somebody, but you still got pictures of that person in your phone. You can't want to cut cords with somebody, and then when this person call you, you got heart flutters, you nervous, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to react, you all over the place. Like, you can't be that way. You have to be just as grounded as you would be if you were talking to an individual that you didn't know or an ex that you have already gotten over in the past. All right? All right, so you have to also do a self-appreciation technique. So true, people do that in this energetic hold and imprisonment. Heck yeah. Like, we forget about the sexual side of things because we don't want to get familiar with other people, you know what I'm saying? But that's really another thing that has the biggest hold on you. But you have to also self-critique, you know what I'm saying? But remember, self-critique only works when it's for your better benefit. Do you see what I'm saying? Example, if I say, all right, I was dating somebody and yeah, okay, you know, I have a temper or some shit like that, okay? Which I probably do, whatever. I can't be like, oh yeah, well, I do have a temper because John Doe said I had a temper. Like, I remember they kept saying that about me. Like, your critique only comes from you. So it's up to you to say, okay, this is how I feel about myself. Not, well, maybe I am this, or that. It don't matter what a bullshitter has to say. Thank God I caught this live. I just had to cut off a bunch of fake people. Hey, welcome. It's like when you're thinking of, we'll even say, like you just said, Spinelli, we'll say friends or family, exes, all right? People will always tell you about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even during an argument, right? They be like, you know what? You're this, you're that. You know what? You act like this, you act like that. When another person say it, it looks to you like this is a repetitive instance of a personality fallacy that you have. Now, if you're a narcissist, I can't support that. But if you know you're a good person, which if you're in this class, I know you are, okay? Because like I said, bad people ain't trying to fix themselves. Then you have to remember that it's only two people that you could work for. So true. If I give people control over you or your mind, just give a fuck about what people may think of you. Heck yeah. So like, when these people are spewing this shit out, because that's usually what happens during an argument, right? Once y'all done separated, you're cutting cords, they reach out, shit don't go the way they want it to go. They're not trying to hear you out the way you want to hear them out, or friends, right? You explaining to your friend how they not being a good friend, or family member how they not being a good family member. And what do? They twist the shit on you, right? Well, you ain't this and you're not that, and you do this and you do that. You like, okay, I wasn't talking about me though. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have somebody that's mutually mature enough to accept the information that you're giving them, okay, cutting cords from them should be very easy. Because, thank you, you can put it up there. Because you need people around you that are open to you critiquing them just as much as they would critique you if you're doing something wrong. If your person had an issue with you correcting them every single time, then it's a no bueno about cutting energy from that type of individual, all right? But remember, self-critique helps with cord cutting because it's not about what they think about you, it's about what you think about yourself. And it's not about the good things of that individual, it's about the overall ending. Like, if a person really, 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 really loves you, and they really, really, really want to be cool with you, or really want to be your friend, or a family member really wants to keep that connection with you, they're not going to let that relationship dissipate. They're going to do everything in their means to fix that. I went through that with my Capricorn. He never wanted to hear anything. Right, and when you're dealing with people like that, it should be, the crazy thing is it should be easier to cut cords with that type of individual, but it's actually harder to cut cords from that individual. Again, because it's going to take you back to self-critique. Like, did I have to tell them all of the bad shit they were doing? Did I have to tell them how they were acting? Or did I have to be so judgmental? Did I have to do this? Did I have to do that? Yes, you had to. Because you have light. And the point of light is to let other people see their fallacies. You're not telling them, something that's gonna harm them or that's negative or that's trying to hurt them in any bad way. You telling them some shit for their own good, just like you would your children, your mom, you know what I'm saying? Whoever. So I met an Aquarius male. Aw, hey, did I tell you that? All right, I ain't gonna go into that yet, but okay, we gonna get back to that. So if it's in your benefit, make sure that you're giving yourself the highest. I thought so. I was about to say that, but I ain't want to be cocky. Congrats. Aw, I feel like that's gonna work. I feel like that can work. And they're very intelligent. But if cord cutting is not working for you, you have to remember, yes, that's how I be feeling. If cord cutting is not working for you, you have to remember that it is a vibrational process, all right? And by process, obviously we know process means something. I reached out to my Gemini to mend our situation, but it's like I don't know what to say to fix the relationship anymore. When you try to reach out to somebody to fix something and beloved has shut the door, she will take the words from you. She won't allow you to say anything. She won't allow you to talk to that individual. And if that don't work, then she'll go over and make sure that they aren't trying to hear you or listen to you or fix it, because that's not who you're supposed to be with. Or that's not who you're supposed to, you know what I'm saying, do anything with. Like, a lot of times beloved does put people around you, around people, to grow them the fuck up, okay? And once that doesn't happen, she will remove them back away from you, because she'll be like, okay, I gave you my strongest child, okay? I gave you my strongest child. This was your last chance with me, all right? I'm not about to keep on giving you my kids and you don't know how to take care of them. So do this shit on your own. And that's when they go through life in a struggle by themselves until they find their next victim. Yeah, exactly. Rejection equals protection. I definitely, 1,000% agree with that, Stone. So if you remember that cord cutting is a vibrational process, it took a while, but I finally can tell it's working. I'm happy. I'm very happy to know that. I asked that in the beginning of the classes. I just want to make sure, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the information that I researched before I even started the course, I was going to do more of like, you know, like a classroom type of setting. And then I was going to do like a coursework type of setting. And then I was like, no, I'm better off just doing straight no chaser. You know what I'm saying? Like, no technicality, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as other courses that I do have, like your Venus, like I'm planning on doing a Venus course, a meditation course and all of that. But as I'm starting to do more of that or learn more of that too, I just want it to be more personable, if that makes sense. So I'm good. It's happy to know that it works. So if we know that cord cutting is a vibrational process, a vibration is give and take. Like Stone said, the law of physics, okay? So it has to be a negative and a positive. It's imperative for you to know which one are you. It says, I thank you for that, sharing your gift. You're welcome. So in all relationships, is as above, so below. Usually, even though the men don't want to admit it, they're usually the so below, because they don't want to take on a lot of shit. They be like, you know what? You can have that, you can do that, like, you had control, whatever. If you need me, call me. You know what I'm saying? As far as protection, I'm gonna stay over here, whatever, like, but I'm gonna let you do your thing, all right? So usually men are so below. I like them kind of being in that energy. It makes them, you know, have more of a feminine approach. It gives them the ability to move around as they please, where they don't feel suffocated or overbeared. And I'm not pleading the male side here, ladies. I'm just saying their thought process is way different than ours, like way different. And a lot of times we give them entirely too much credit when it comes down to the breaking down of the emotions and feelings of women, all right? This is why you'll find that more men act out of character, immaturely, ghost you, or act a certain type of way when it comes to making them, you know, I'm not gonna say fess up, but like rise to the occasion of the relationship, all right? So, as it being a vibrational process, as above, so below, you have to think of forgiving and forgetting when you're cutting cords as well. Because if you're still holding on to the shit they said last week, or the shit they said yesterday, or last month, or whenever y'all separated, because like I said, I'm working with a client right now where she's actually just now going out on her first date, which I told y'all in almost 40 years, okay? Celibate and everything. And I asked her, you know, if I had the permission to share her story. She said absolutely. But it's just crazy how when I express my ideology behind cord cutting and pain, you know, of breakups versus what they were learning and waiting for, mine was about I ain't gonna say maybe a couple weeks, all right? I'll say at the most I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I want to say like 9 or 10 weeks. But compared to 40 years, you know what I'm saying? It's not really about what you deal with, is how you deal with it. Do that make sense? It's not what you deal with, is how you deal with it. So when you're cutting cords from people, you have to forgive and forget. Example, when you were in high school, the person you were dating, you never seen yourself away from that person, right? They was just, maybe some of y'all even could have been still with or are married to, whatever, with your high school sweetheart. But when you were in high school, you met somebody, you never thought you would get away from them. You thought they was gonna be there forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It says, that's it, forgiving before I cut them off. Yeah. And now that you think about them, in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s, you don't get no shit about them. The way you see them now, you're like, damn, their whole physique has changed, their body has changed, their mind has changed. They might have other relationships, kids. It sounds like she had a lot of healing to do. And you know what's funny? It really wasn't healing. It was the thought process behind it. Does that make sense? Because you can heal in a day as long as your mind can register what you're healing. I just read a study about the 18-hour travel. Damn it. It was something like it was basically like a, forgive my, I went to public school. It was like clairaudient messaging, okay? But it was like an 18-hour drive. So I'm trying to move forward now. I try to focus on my work, getting my business started. Interested in having more whole things and more. That's why the more you let go, the more it lets go of us. Forgiveness is for you. Yes. Basically, they put a lady that just broke up from a relationship. She was in her relationship for some years. And she had found out that the person had cheated. It was like the umpteenth time they had cheated. And she had already decided that she was like getting out of a relationship. She had let go. I'm going to find this link, and I'll put it in the Google Classroom if I find it. But it was really tweakish because I was watching it and reading it like, what the? Okay, so they were sending people on road trips, okay? This is why a lot of y'all, when y'all go on road trips, y'all feel so free. Y'all feel uplifted. You feel motivated because the whole time you're on a road trip, what you doing? You're thinking, right? But they sent this lady on an 18-hour road trip and told her by the time she made it to her destination, she needed to have a resolution about how she was done with the relationship. And by the time she made it to her destination, she was like, I have thought about just about everything and every scenario, and I just don't want him no more. I'm done with it. And she was relocating, of course, but when she made it to where she was going, she had got settled in and she met somebody else. It was never another situation, question, concern, problem, like going back, wondering, none of that. I don't know what that process was. So I started to do research to kind of like break down the ideology about how could you heal yourself in 18 hours with a road trip. And then I thought about it to myself like, darn, she probably had went through every scenario possible known to man of how she could have resolved that situation or scenario, and just found out that it came to grips was like, okay, it's nothing more that I could have did. Now, some of y'all ain't got to drive 18 hours to figure that out, but you have to remember the rotation of a thought process keeps coming back in your head. It's called rumination. So for as long as you keep thinking about why something didn't work, how it went down, what happened to it, that stuff eventually over time adds up to hours. Now, that lady was fortunate enough to get hers out of the way in 18 hours, but if you think about the spurts of time that this pops up, it probably comes out to about 18 hours of thought, maybe even in a day or a week. Some people think about their person all day, 2 days, 2 weeks straight. So it's all about how you register, I guess, like that information. All right, so remember that part, and forgiving and forgetting. All right, so why is cord cutting not working for you? And this is only if it's not, all right? If it's a vibrational process, some people cannot tap into the energy of meditation. So I don't care how big of scissors you imagine yourself cutting the strings with of this individual, or how big of, a knife you use to cut the strings. If you can't, visualize or understand that this is the ending of something and it won't be turned around just based off of you alone. It will take two of y'all, the ADHD. Exactly. It will take two of y'all to fix this. If your person is unwilling or immature or just not there, they're absent, it's not gonna work with you having this hope of renewal. You have to cut the cords of that linkage, bondage, that tone of the relationship. I'm trying to say this without jumping over, but I'm just gonna jump over so y'all can see more of that too. The person that you were dating and how they were going about and doing shit, right? When you cut cords from that, it gives you the opportunity to start new with something else or somebody else or the same individual. But you have to cut cords with the energy that that relationship was fueled on. Does that make sense? Like, if it was a bunch of arguing, bickering, toxicity, and y'all break up, when you cut cords with that, if this person came back around, it's a whole different energy. It has to be. Now, if they come back with the same energy that caused you to cut cords, your person's a dub. They're a dub. And then in which you cut cords with them and you drop them all together, because they're gonna always have that same energy. So it's up to you to cut cords, forgive, and forget. Also, there's nothing wrong with dating, entertaining, communicating with someone else during the cord cutting process. Men are put there for women, okay, as the protector. Women are put to men as the healer, okay? Yeah, this is all Googleable information, or most of you already know this. So a lot of times if a person's spirit, energy is bothering you, you can bring in another male. So this could be your dad, this could be a cousin, it could be anybody that you start to communicate with, that when that person taps into your energy, if y'all get close like that, they'll jump in and protect you. See, a lot of people forget that it says it takes two to do the crime, so it must take two to keep the relationship. Heck yeah. I cut cords before, and I'm glad you said that. I feel bad. Maybe I should. Heck no, I would not feel bad. I would not feel bad. Now I know better. So there was something that I read that basically said that men are protectors. And they're not protectors because they're super strong, of course, or because, they're bigger than women. They're protectors because they have more of a tapping, or I don't know the proper word, but they can tap into energy better than we can as women, y'all. For those that don't know, especially if they have Scorpio in their chart, water in their chart, period, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. The intuitive signs, or maybe even Libra. So they're not just protecting you from physical harm. They're also there to protect you from spiritual harm, okay? That's why, and I hate to say this because I don't want y'all to feel like I'm just this chauvinist individual or nothing like that, but if you see back in the day, a lot of the shamans and stuff like that were males, you know what I'm saying? Even though women had the ability, they kind of pushed them over the side, but we're not gonna get into that. We'll talk about that another time. Now, the man protects the woman's energy, so this is why fathers usually, will call a daughter or an uncle or somebody that's father-like. Anything that has father-like energy, they will contact you and say, hey, you okay? Sometimes that happens at a time frame where you're at your lowest point, or you're at, an irritation level, because they can sense something is not right, okay? If these men have these capabilities, all right, and they're your father or your uncle or father-like, or even a relationship, then you have to know when they're pissed off at you, the type of energy that they bring. Now let's go to the woman, okay? Women are the healers, all right? So when a man chooses a woman, He's choosing his rib, all right? So he's choosing the person that's going to heal him. Having hope in a one-sided relationship breeds resentment. Heck yeah. You got to drop the whole thing altogether. But as she's his rib, so true, because it requires a certain energy to embody the protector. It isn't truly amplified or embodied in the feminine energy. Exactly. Because of the energies and forces that you have to take on. You have to be a stronger body or stronger body individual to deal with certain things. You know what I'm saying? The woman as the healer, as the rib, she's the healer. So she's the person that soothes the mind, body, and soul of the protector. All right? What some of y'all did was y'all came into the relationship soothing the mind, body, and soul of a person that wasn't ready to be a protector. Did that make sense? So here you are, healing, healing, healing. They create an issue for themselves, healing, healing. You try to come in, Bogart, healing, help, 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 healing. You know what I'm saying? And they not ready to take that driver's seat. Or you have friends that are like that, you know? Either way, you have to bag out because you're healing somebody that is reopening the stitches that you're putting in. And it don't work like that. If they know what they had, as far as if you are a healer, which most of y'all, I'm going to make the assumption are, if they know what they had, then they would appreciate the healing that you provide for them, and they would use that to be a better protector, either of their family, of you, of their parents, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you might be wasted your time on a dud, and that's fine. But as you're cutting cords, you have to realize that, like, why am I putting all my energy into healing somebody that if I needed them can't protect me? Because they don't even know that they're a protector. Because if they did, they would know that you're a healer. Because like understands like recognizes like, real recognizes real. You see what I'm saying? If they didn't recognize you for who you were and as a healer, it should be no bueno to cut cords from this individual. And pay attention to how the people that you healed, it's funny how this plays out. Exactly. Pay attention to the people that you healed were the main people that had the most to say about you. And it was always the opposite of who you were as a healer. Capability does not equal willingness, I have learned. Absolutely. Like, a person can lift a car. You know what I'm saying? They're capable. But will they do it? For you? You know what I'm saying? Because people will go the long mile for people that are just as shady as them. Because like understand like. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to you, oh, everybody got a problem with you. That's why some of y'all had issues that y'all had with their family. A lot of y'all battling their family and battling them. It's not because you the bad guy here. It's because they recognize that you have that energy or ability, which tells them that you're something different, which also means that they need to reject or help. And because they know that you're going to help them be a better person, they have to reject you and get you out the picture. That's why some of y'all dealt with the toxic parent or the toxic ex or the toxic this and that, because most of those people were under those people's wings. Tired of the spiritual warrior-ish. Hey, that's all that the world is based on. Yeah, the family never liked me, but I never cared. I amped up my protection during that time. Exactly. And if you look at it now as you're cutting cords, you probably won't even be able to say why. It's like the saying, misery loves company. Yes. And just in addition to misery loves company, does a black sheep know that they're a black sheep? Or do they realize that they're a black sheep based off of how everybody look at them? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes when you're born or born into something, you just never know who you are until you look in the mirror. I never met the family, but the sister knew about me and she closed the door. I be thinking I have bad luck with people. Hell no, that's not bad luck. No. That has nothing to do with bad luck. That has everything to do with energy. His mom didn't like me because I didn't want to be around, or in her house because I don't my own place and I hate nosy parents. It's not even that. If you didn't want to be around this individual, if you didn't want to be around them individuals, it was for good reason. It was for a good reason. Your energy aggravate their demons. I always say that. It says, I know what you're saying. It's not bad luck. It's because they see your light. Exactly. Exactly. And their first notion is to reject that. The sister has this kind of control over. Yes. If you find somebody that has good capability of being a protector, and you see the good in them, and you know how great of a person they could be if they act right or they did right, that means that they have something in them that if it's enhanced, they will be the best of the best. Those are the people that have gatekeepers. All right. So you'll find that they have somebody around them that keeps them under their wing or control. And people don't know how to accept other people's boundaries. Yes, but for the most part, you're thinking of somebody that's naive. That's a good word to throw into there. People are naive. He said to me one day that his mom told him that he should marry a Spanish girl because he will take care of them. Wow. I mean, for him to tell you that speaks volumes that your spirit aggravates their demons. Do you see what I'm saying? Because any person that knows the value of you, they're not going to say anything to you that will separate you from them or make you look at their other person in a disgruntled manner. See, it says he told me that his mom said from the first day she saw me, she knew that he was. See, when people tell y'all stuff like that, you have to know that, yeah. You have to know that it's because they want you to not like them. Because you know how awkward it would be if you got around them and y'all were cool? You see what I'm saying? It's like, I have to have a problem with you because the more I have a problem with you, it gives me a reason. I can't just come up to you and not like you. Like, I gotta have a reason. That's like, like I told y'all back in in my readings, the Little Ponytail crew, the Bald Head Bitch Club, they gotta have a reason. You know what I'm saying? And they'll make any reason to not like you. It doesn't matter what it is. Because that's easier than being around you and they fucking skin on fire. You see what I'm saying? So, now that we've gotten that part out of the way, it's about addressing the energies, okay? Understanding what you're arguing with and for, pre-planning if you have to communicate with this individual. If you don't have to communicate with them at all, keep their ass over there. And as soon as they come to your energy, start addressing their ass. Like I told y'all in the last cord cutting session, she don't like Jamaicans. I mean, you're there. You know what I'm saying? That's just like a lot of the toxic shit that happens all over the world. It don't matter what you don't like, it's still there. You know what I mean? That's like a horse saying he don't like a goat. Like, they there. They all there. They're all God's creation. There's nothing anybody can do about that. But you have the choice to pick and choose who you want to be around. And now that y'all going into this queen and king state mentally, y'all have to now realize, like, I don't have to deal with that shit. I don't have to be around this shit. I don't have to hear this shit. I don't have to play games with your ass. I don't have to do none of that. So call it cocky, call it whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, you still making it and calling the shots. Now, when you do get that protector in, now we go back to that masculine energy. If you're a female, and a feminine if you're the male. But we'll get into that too. But right now, as we're cutting cords from the people that didn't understand that you were a healer or a protector, you got to put your energy into something. And it has to be something that's making you happy. And it has to be kicking out energies that are causing y'all a lot of issues with, I hate to say the word relapsing, but going into this phase where you're not understanding why something happened. But now that you look at it just as that, are they a protector? Because if they're not a protector, there's no point of wasting that time in the first place. I fell for it and questioned my femininity in the process. Yeah, now you got it back. Because I'm sure you did more for them than they did for you. So what's the point of questioning now? At this point now, you could be like, you know what? It is what it is. That's just who they are. That's what they come with. That's what they bring. That's for the next, and y'all have to forgive me because y'all know I curse. That's for the next bitch to deal with. All right? If she don't understand her self-worth and she want to be with him, good luck, more power to you. But if I understand my self-worth, I'm just not dealing with certain shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Once you level up, all shit looks different to you. They have never been a protector for me. Then yeah, it's no point. Because that means you're a healer for them. So that's why your ass was drained and tired and irritated and mad and didn't want to talk and walk around with this attitude or stay to yourself, or you felt like you was battling bouts of depression because they were sucking your energy dry and not giving you shit in return. The most healthy and vibrant relationships includes a lot of laughter or a lot of silence. All right? Now, both parties are silent though. It's not he's happy and she's silent, or she's happy and he's silent. Both parties are silent. Exactly. Yes, I told him I love me more. Yeah. And that's exactly what you have to have. You have to self-validation. So I'm going to put this article in the group, all right, in the classroom. But I want to do this twin flame mastery test for people that just feel like they can't get away from their person. So you'll really know that that person was just not for you. My new boo makes me laugh. He's a Leo and I'm a Taurus. That is a good ass combo. We was just talking about that on the live last night, actually. Certain combinations are really good combinations for your sign and chart. And laughter heals the soul, whether people know it or not. Walked away in November, haven't spoken since. And I wouldn't even care to address, wonder. They showed you already, period. That's exactly, as people, we have to learn how to take what people say, even if it's disrespectful, blatant, rude, or brash, or whatever. We have to take what they do and their actions and what they say with some value. For real, I'm mad. I missed this. My first Leo ever. He's dope. Yeah, but imagine if you would have met him at a time frame when you weren't where you are now spiritually, how that would look. You know what I'm saying? So it took you to go through that journey for you to be able to get them. I'm always laughing. It's that Libra Sun, Gemini Moon. I'm so childish, LOL. It ain't being childish. You supposed to laugh. You know when you got a bad energy around you because you stop laughing. You start getting moody and irritated. And you want to be off to yourself, or you buried into stuff that you don't like. That's how you know when somebody's draining your energy. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Do what makes you happy. Make sure that you're not letting other people critique you. It's time for you to self-critique yourself, but pour positivity into what you see. Think about if that individual is actually a healer or a protector, okay? Depending on if it's, same or two different. You need to also understand when to argue and address energies, preparation of energy, how to talk to people. If you have children involved, making sure that their energy is not going to overconsume you. You're welcome. And preparing yourself for conversations that you know you have to have, so your emotions and energies are not involved. Because when you have children with people, bruh, it's a whole different ball game, man. It's a whole different ball game. People know how to play with you, when it comes to that, and get you out of your, comfort zone, because they dated you. They know what makes you tick. They know what makes you mad. And contrary to what y'all believe, because y'all, might look at your person as they're a shitty ass individual, which I can agree. They still took the time to study you. I'm really glad I joined the class. I'm happy that you're here. So they still took the time to study you. That's what you have to remember. So now you need to look at it. Are they playing you against you? Did you ever tell them anything that you didn't like? Did you ever tell them how your ex acted and how it made you feel? Because a lot of times in a vulnerable new state, we give a lot of information to people like, man, I'm so happy I met you. You know, my ex was this, and that. You're not like that. I'm happy. But in lieu, you're still giving information. Thank you, my first class, and already I feel so much better understanding things. Start clicking. Aw, thank you. So remember that. And I will see y'all. I'm aiming for Wednesday. All right, so I'm going to put it out there in the universe. Wednesday at 8 o'clock, so I'm not too far distant from y'all, okay? Yes, I did that. And we will pick it up from there. I do have to go live on Everything Empress as well and Taurus Rising Tier. Just like in the first class, how to transcribe a person's soul. Absolutely. It's easy because my ex knows to owe me. I'm happy I joined tonight. Aw, I'm happy that you were here. Inbox me on IG too. I want to ask a few questions that I have, but I'm not going to ask you on here. Toy, I think that's what I seen. Probably said too much. I mean, even if you did, just remember that. They want to play off that. Or that they're going to play off that. Or trying to play off that. Oh, I love you. So just be mindful of that, y'all. I love y'all genuinely, okay? I love y'all genuinely. So make sure off social media. Oh, you are? Okay. We'll catch up. I'll probably do it after the next class then. Thank you. I guess that's the sign. You see what I mean? Their energy is causing you to, you know what I'm saying? Not be able to, you need to fix that, love. Fix that. Because if you have a business or you're trying to create your business, you're going to need social media. I'm going to go back. Yeah, what you going in hiding for? Fuck that. Again, address that energy. Address that energy. Like, you don't have to have from nobody. If you are addressing energies, you addressing their asses wholeheartedly. And if you stay away from something, they like, yeah, look at them. They running, yeah, look at them. They don't want to, they ain't even doing the same stuff. They know they broke you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to let people do that to you. You want to get back out there like, yeah, fuck you, basically. I do what the fuck I want to do. If I want to have social media, I have social media, but your ugly ass ain't going to inbox me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just reacted to my pages head on. It's the best. Yes, it is. I definitely agree, Brittany. I definitely agree. Like, address that shit as it come in. Like, don't run from shit. Don't run from the conversation. You know eventually they're going to come back. It's time for you to just be like, look, like, what's good? What? You know what I'm saying? And when they do enter into your energy or say whatever they need to say, I'm sorry. Like, I'm in a healing process. Unfortunately, this ain't going to work out. Hey. And that's that. It's nothing more, nothing less, nothing to it, Well, y'all, Tiara, I like how you gonna log in like 3 seconds after the class is about to be up. No, I'm just playing. You can catch up from starting it over. But I'm about to get off of here because I got chicken and waffles waiting for me, and I'm about to throw them back in the fryer and act like I haven't eaten all day because I haven't, all right? But I love y'all, and I will be live. Give me about 10 minutes, 20 minutes on one of my pages. But y'all have notifications, hopefully, on for me. We'll see which one. Thanks, y'all.